So let me just list out all the, all the fabulous possibilities of what this announcement could be about. It could be a politically disruptive, statement about some kind of national policy. It could be some kind of political sop, to battle what the opposition has announced. It could be, nuclear, like Gaurav has conjectured, possible. It has happened in the past as well. Remember when the Prime Minister had talked about the anti-satellite missile test. There's a possibility of, like Polomi said, some kind of achievement in space, something to do with ISRO. We do know that the Prime Minister has a special affection for all things ISRO since last year and before that as well. It could be something else entirely. I think the fact that there is so much suspense over what the Prime Minister is about to say, with no indications whatsoever about what he's going to talk about, makes it all but confirms, Gaurav, that this is going to be something big. When you build it up in this manner, allow the kind of suspense and speculation to build up for about half an hour before you actually make a statement, it's going to be something big.
Shiv, because the government and top government sources have already confirmed that when it comes to the Citizenship Amendment Act, that notification will take place in due course as per standard procedure. So that is SOP that will be followed. For an SOP to be followed, you do not need the Prime Minister to make a big announcement. And the government was very clear from day one, at an appropriate time, Citizenship Amendment Act would be notified. So perhaps we can keep that aside. That will happen. The government also has its systems in place to ensure that the kind of agitation that was orchestrated last time, the kind of riots that took place, the kind of agitation that took place, all of that will not be permitted to be repeated. That is something that the government, at least that is what sources had told us some time back, that all of that has been sorted. The fact that there's a NOTAM out, so you and I would be possibly thinking that a big ticket announcement, if it has to do with a notice that goes out and a window that's been created, will it be that big missile test? Because that missile test, while it will have its political dividends, it has a much bigger ramification for the country and for the region. And that's a very significant message that goes out, a message that the government has been trying to give out from day one. That there will be no compromise on national security and on protecting our borders. So if this is to do with that, then that's a very, very significant message going out at a time when troops are also adequately deployed and in numbers at both borders and to ensure that nothing goes wrong from now till election results are declared. So all of that has already been factored in. But will it be a GYAN-related announcement where the Prime Minister's key result areas, because when the opposition talks about, give us a caste survey, the government's response has already been that the only caste that the Prime Minister talks about or wants to uplift are the women, the youth, the Annadatas, all of them have to be brought forward. So will it remain about them? That remains to be seen. And Shiv, perhaps just 6 more minutes to go for it.
6 more minutes of fantasy and speculation before we finally get it. I also want to temper expectations of our viewers, because this is, of course, a very, very serious matter. We may be indulging here as journalists in conjecture over what the possibilities are, but let's remind ourselves that this is the Prime Minister of the country who is going to be making what is being described by the PMO as an important statement. So, this is serious business. It affects the country. The fact that he's making a public statement to the nation means it's something that affects us all. So we'll be listening very, very closely. Piyush, if I could bring you in now, I'm sure the opposition, has been sort of electrified into attention as to what the Prime Minister has up his sleeve now. They're always watching, what the Prime Minister plans to do. He's been playing a lot of mind games with them. This could be something else now.
Well, certainly, and Rahul Gandhi has already tweeted Khatarnak. So this shows as to how the opposition is going to react on whatever announcement Prime Minister is going to make. But Shiv, let us remind to all our viewers, when this announcement had come for the very first time during Modi regime, it was the time when Prime Minister had announced a demonetization, following which we had seen as to how the BJP had swept the elections of Uttar Pradesh, Uttarakhand, and many assembly elections were swept by BJP. At the time also, opposition parties had criticized the move of announcing demonetization, but following which we have seen multiple times Prime Minister coming out and such messages keep coming in from the credible sources where they say that Prime Minister is going to make a huge announcement. And once again, this alert has come, which is certainly signifying that Prime Minister is indeed going to make a big announcement, and this announcement is going to be just before the Model Code of Conduct is in place. Remember that the next cabinet meeting of Prime Minister Modi of this term is going to take place on Wednesday, and before this it is going to be a huge announcement which Prime Minister in just few minutes from now is going to make.